Scott from Aristocob.com here.
And Seth from theshrinkingpastor.com.
Together, the three of us.
Don't wave that around like that.
We're Mark Woodman's Breakfast Club. Welcome back once again. And while I'm trying to get the frickin' blade out of here, boy, we have some splaining to do. Where have we been?
Yeah, good question.
Why is it so dang hot in here? It's
also
80 degrees in here, and it didn't get anywhere near 80 degrees outside today.
No. Both good questions. So, we have been gone for a couple of weeks. Let me tell you why. 2 weeks ago, on what would normally be my editing and upload day, my wife wound up in the hospital. I took her to the emergency room. During the work day, she started having what sounded like stroke-like symptoms. She started having a bit slurred speech, was having trouble completing sentences.
Wasn't you reading something in class and the students were saying, that's not what that says?
Yep.
Was it Mark Wood?
Yep, so she was incorrectly reading sentences that she had written and then incorrectly writing things. So she went to, started I guess with blurred vision on one side of her face, and she started to type in Google for blurred vision and realized that she had misspelled vision wrong, like incompletely.
Misspelled it wrong, or?
Yeah, she misspelled it so wrong that it was spelled incorrectly. And so she then tried again, same deal. So she ended up going to some of her coworkers, and they said, well, this isn't weird. They called the school nurse down. They ended up getting EMTs on site, and so we took her to the hospital. The EMTs thought that maybe she'd had a mini stroke. The ER did an MRI and found out that no, she had not.
Good.
So that was great. And the baby is great.
Good.
They believe that she was having symptoms caused by migraine. And what we didn't know until this happened is that apparently it's very common that migraines will cause all sorts of weird symptoms, and oftentimes they happen before you even get a headache, and which was her case. She ended up getting a headache early in the morning, and so they said it's migraine. She was also under a lot of stress, so it is possible, and in fact very likely, that the stress that she's been under had something to do with it as well. So, needless to say, that video did not get posted on Wednesday, and things were just so busy taking care of her and trying to take care of the kids that it didn't happen that the video got posted that week. So then last week I went to post our video Tuesday night as per usual, and realized that in the process of cleaning up some files on my computer, I had deleted what I thought were the 3 videos we recorded from March, and were in fact 3 videos we recorded in May, and I still had the 3 videos from March. So I kid you not, I edited and then uploaded the video. Wednesday morning I get a message from Homer saying, hey, that video you uploaded doesn't have any audio. I spent hours working on getting the audio fixed. I'm like, the audio's working just fine. It wasn't rendering the audio out. This is stupid. This is crazy. I finally get it. I think I send you a message like Thursday afternoon because it took that long.
It'll be uploaded.
It's up. I've tested it. The audio's there. And he's watching and he said,
This is really familiar.
This isn't the video we recorded last week. No, it wasn't.
Now, last week I happened to be up in northern Michigan, and I was with Jay, D-I-G-H-S-X.
Jay.
And he was sitting there while I was listening to this video, and I looked at him and I said, this seems familiar. And he goes, that is familiar. So he had seen that episode that you...
Hey, thanks for watching, Jay.
that you had added the audio to. So anyway, so we lost 2, maybe 3?
2
videos that we've recorded. That's frustrating. You know, it kind of harkens back to the conversation we had years ago where we were kind of given some best practices, and one of the things was talking about redundancy and recording and things like that. I don't think we ever talked about be sure that you've saved the recording on your camera before you delete it from your camera. Don't cut yourself.
You know what? Sharp. You know what? It may actually still be on the camera. I don't think I took those videos off of the camera. I never thought to go back to the camera to look.
Oh gosh.
Cool.
Well,
So-
if that's the case, you're not even watching this.
So next week, what you see might be 2 weeks old. There you go. There's your razor blade.
How in the world?
Don't cut me with it. You gotta be smarter than a blade box.
I've never had one behave that way. All I wanted to do was to get a new fresh blade in my knife. Crazy. So what you been up to, boy?
I have been very busy editing videos.
Well, I've been in Nolan, Michigan.
Oh yeah.
Actually, that was a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed meetups and meeting with other YouTubers. That I don't know. There's something about Jay that kinship, I guess.
You guys are buddies.
We're buddies, but I can't even put my finger on what it is, and I don't even know how reciprocated it is. I just enjoy the guy, and the fact that he's got about 1 million subscribers, I think you guys all enjoy Jay as well. But he was so kind, and he and his wife, to let me just come over, and since they live a ways away from pretty much anything, offered to put me up for the night. And put me up and put them out, which, anyway, I had a really good time and enjoyed rummaging around in his shop and seeing his new Willis Scout Jeep that he bought here a couple weeks ago, and man, that is going to be a project. I don't know if you saw any of that or seen any of that, but he bought this old Jeep.
I've been busy editing videos.
Yeah, that's right. He bought this old Jeep back around the start of World War II. There was this company called Willis.
Yeah.
And Willis was
What you
one
talk
of
about?
that exactly. One of the first companies, or one of the companies that got the contract to build Jeeps. But as the story goes, they couldn't keep up with demand, and the U.S. government just kind of spread the wealth. So a number of people made Jeeps. And then ultimately that product line kind of went into public domain,
Right.
if you will. And so the company went away. But this Jeep was this vehicle is a 1952. Looks, if you stand back and look at it, it looks like a Woody, the design of it. And it has got a longer back on it, like a,
Well.
no, not that long of a back, but like a wagon. It doesn't look like a Jeep. It looks like a wagon. Yeah, I got a picture of it.
Of the station variety?
Of the station
Or like the
variety.
Red Ryder?
Neither, actually. And he just has so much guts to take on a project like this that is going to, it's going to take years
Whoa!
to get parts for this
Right, doesn't
thing
look Woody.
and to do all the work that's necessary.
That's cool.
The engine's actually in good shape, and you can't see that. Let's see if you can. The engine's in good shape. It's got like 40,000 actual miles on it.
Yeah.
But it's been left outside forever, so the body's rough. But that's the sort of project Jay wanted, was something that he can just tinker on for
Years.
years. It probably will be years.
Yeah.
So, but then his plan is to take a road trip with it, hopefully, and visit a bunch of YouTubers. He says it's got a maximum speed of 45 miles an hour. Maybe not a bunch of YouTubers. He'll make it probably down the Date and then turn around.
That's cool.
We had a interesting tour. I was supposed to be on a factory tour of factories, and the first tour that they took us on, this was a woodworking related industry event in Traverse City, and the first tour was of American Waste and their recycling center. Now, in the end, we come to find out it's all tied into lean management or lean manufacturing.
Cool.
And they certainly have a concern about throughput, and they're looking for the bottlenecks. And, there's some operations that make sense to have machines do it, and other operations that make sense to have people do it. But when we first pulled up, I said, "Oh, we're going to see where IKEA makes their furniture."
Yeah, so lean manufacturing, if you're not familiar with the term, is essentially manufacturing without waste. And so the whole idea is to eliminate waste at every possible corner, which is why IKEA is a good example of that, because I think very few companies exemplify that more than with their ability to stack boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And you would never imagine that you could get a lamp in a triangular box that you could stack.
Right.
It's very, very clear they take a lot of care to eliminate that wasted space and those wasted materials.
Well, and to sell things for as low a price as possible, but still obviously be profitable.
Right.
Anyway, it's an interesting concept, and the fact that we went to a recycling plant as our first stop on this tour of plants, I think was eye-opening to a lot of people, because again, the initial reaction is, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
But by the time you go through that, you realize, my gosh, there's a lot of things that cross over from this and woodworking. And we went from there to a very lean plant. We went to a plant that they do several $1 million a year in millwork, cabinets primarily. And they have an area about the size of this part of my shop is where they keep their sheet goods, their MDF, their melamine, particle board, things like that. They keep 2 days worth of inventory on hand. So 2 days a week they have deliveries coming in of materials, and they are not a warehouse.
Right.
And you could say, well, wait, you could save money if you would buy a bunch of inventory. What they do is they save money by committing to a bunch of inventory.
Right.
They're going to be buying bunks and bunks of this material every single week, and as a result they can negotiate better pricing. And they don't need to be a warehouse to negotiate those kind of deals.
Right.
So anyway, it was an interesting week.
And one of the hallmarks of lean manufacturing is something they call one-piece flow, which is where you're doing everything you can to get as many steps in the process done at one time as you can.
Touch the part as few times as possible.
That's it. Because a lot of companies, one person will put this widget on, and then it gets sent down to the next person who does this and this, and you lose time in touching the product.
My kingdom for a lighter that works.
You lose time, and it kills efficiency when the product's going all over the place. And so you can find, if you Google or search on YouTube, you can find really great examples of this. And a couple of people do what they call, I don't know if it has an official name, but it's an envelope test, where they'll show an example of 10 envelopes. And so here's what you want to do. You want to take the envelope, you want to stuff it in, you want to take the paper, fold it into 3 pieces, stuff it into an envelope, seal the envelope, put a stamp on it. Right? That's it. 4 steps in the process. And so they'll do it in a batch method where you fold all 10 pieces of paper first, and then you put all 10 pieces of paper into the envelopes, and then you seal all 10 envelopes, and then you stamp all 10 envelopes. And they do the one-piece flow where you fold the paper, put it in the envelope, seal it, put a stamp on it. And seeing it done that way, it's a very simple visual example. Right. But you can see how there's so much extra time in stacking things over here and transitioning from one step to another.
I went to a factory one time. You may have heard of the Lane Hope Chest Company. Your mom had a Hope chest made by the Lane Company, and went through their factory, and they were trying to be lean, but they were a 100-plus-year-old company that didn't really know how to do lean.
Right.
And probably the most amazing thing about this whole plant was you'd go into areas where guys would be running power tools, and there'd be no lights, no natural light coming in through windows, no dust collection. There would be these cast iron and wood carts being drug along in a chain, just a continuous chain, like a train, like a little train that would kind of serpentine its way through the factory. And as you're walking through, you're having to go up and over and step between them, and it was kind of scary. Yeah. And but there were piles everywhere. You'd go to the area where they're making a curved top, and there's curved tops absolutely everywhere, and they're gluing all these pieces together. So here are the pieces over here, and there's a couple days worth of pieces being machined, and over here they're gluing them up. And finally, I asked the guy, I said, how long does it take for a hope chest from beginning to end? How long does it take to get out of the factory? He said 3 weeks. 3 weeks it's under their roof. Wow. From the time they bring in the lumber to the time they're actually shipping out. I've been in factories where that product, the lumber comes in, and the product's coming out at the end of the shift.
Right.
That company, by the way, is no longer in the United States. And they can't. You can't produce a product at that rate with that much inventory just sitting around and bottlenecks everywhere.
Yeah.
Fascinating lesson. They opened up a flatline production facility, kind of a 32 millimeter system, let's say IKEA style cabinetry, and they shut it down because they didn't know how to run it. They spent millions and millions of dollars to build the building, to install all this equipment, and they just couldn't figure it out. They're used to throwing bodies at the project. One of the things, for example, at this plant that we visited, the factory where they were building cabinets, that you see in European cabinet construction is they take the sides of their base cabinet, like in your kitchen, and they lay the sides out, and they attach all the drawer slide members, the cabinet members. In another area, they're building drawer boxes that they're attaching the slide that go on that part, and then they get assembled in a case clamp, and all the parts go in. In an American cabinet, they build the box, they add a wooden frame on it, and then in the darkness of that frame, they reach in there and they add all the drawer slides. So just seeing them working out in the bright light with the attaching the drawer slides and putting glue into all the dowel holes and stuff, so much easier than the way we traditionally do things. But anyway, it's interesting to see, because you could go to plants that do it the old-fashioned way and have gotten good at it.
Right.
You can get really good at doing the wrong things.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the guys that's really pushed lean manufacturing is Phil Akers. Paul. That's it. Sorry. Paul Akers of Fast Cap, and he's got. If you search for Fast Cap, you can see all sorts of great examples of this. And one of the things
he has a free ebook and free audiobook and tons of free videos on YouTube called the 2-second lean. Just 2-second lean. Google 2-second lean. His idea is to make simple 2-second improvements, and a little improvement here, a little improvement there, it adds up.
Right.
His book is 2-second lean.
Okay. That's where I was going with this. Is
up on your toes here?
Yeah, big time. Because one of the great points that he makes over and over and over again, is he encourages all of his staff to do apparently 2-second lean every single day. Take a few minutes to make a small improvement in your workstation, in the workplace, in your business, that is going to create exponential improvement over time. So, I mean, on his videos, some of them are simple as they had trash cans with handles on the side. And they said it was always annoying because you had to lift the hand. You usually would have to put down what you had, lift the handles, do whatever. And so they took 10 snips, cut the handles off, put some tape on the back so you can just lift it with an arm and dump your trash in. And so this is a fix that probably took 10 minutes to figure out what to do, and this time in most companies would be seen as 10 minutes of wasted time. And his point is, if this saves us just 2 seconds, 5 seconds a day, or even let's say saves me 10 seconds a week to do this one step, but then it also saves the other 50 employees I have 10 seconds a week. How many weeks will I have made up that 10 minutes and have been, exponentially be saving time in the long run?
If you watch no other video by Paul, and if none of this sounds interesting to you, go search on YouTube for...
And if none of it sounds interesting to you, it's probably because we're not describing it well enough.
Search lean burrito. Lean burrito. And actually, if you search Fast Cap, one word, lean burrito, you'll see an example of Paul's vision, his obsession because he was going to this little burrito joint, and the trash that he would get, just so much. You've all been places where you get stuff in the bag that you don't need, that you're just never going to use, and it's nice, it's convenient that they always throw those things.
Or you ask for extra toppings, but then each individual topping comes in its own little Dixie cup.
Right.
And then there's the burritos wrapped, and then there's a fork and a napkin, and that's wrapped in a different foil.
And some people need the fork and napkin, and
Right.
they need napkins, but not everybody needs silverware when they eat a burrito.
Right.
Go watch the Lean Burrito.
Uh,
So, anyway, our goal when we recorded the last couple videos was to try to shorten our videos. We know your time is valuable, and we rarely get together. When was the last time we got to sit in the same room together?
4 weeks ago.
Yeah. So for us, it's fun just to sit and talk, but we know that you don't always have time for that. So we're going to make shorter videos for a while.
No,
see what you think. Well,
we're
they'll
gonna
be
try.
shorter, but they won't be short.
Yeah.
We will never make a short video on this channel.
Maybe. We do every year. Tobacco Advent, those are short videos.
Yeah.
5 to 8 minutes.
You
What I'm interested to know this week, here's your call to action, here's your challenge. In the comment section, please leave us a comment letting us know why you bother to come and watch our videos. and I mean it with all sincerity. In a week or 2 or 3, depending on if the old videos are actually here, I'm going to explain a little bit more. But I've been doing this thing through my work that I would like for us to try to apply to our videos here so that we can make better, more enjoyable videos for you guys. We do what we enjoy, but I get a sense that we could probably still do what we enjoy and make them a little bit better for you to spend your time with us. So what is it about our videos? Is it the pipe talk, the random shop talk? Is it just random ranting? What makes you keep coming back week for week?
Boy, have I got a rant.
I bet you do.
We'll save it.
We'll save it for a week.
Yeah, for another video.
The next video we're recording.
All right.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
All right.